Good morning. This morning is April 21st, 2026. It's 4:19 a.m. Title of this is going to be The 3 Days of Darkness. Yesterday, a couple of us were exchanging emails. Some of the people in the assembly and a fellow up in Canada. And maybe it got started because Anna Von Wrights, on her Monday webinar, I'll give a link to it, last week, was talking about it. So I thought I'd do a video on it, since it was of interest and it might be pertinent for next week. First of all, I want to say that I first read about how the earth is lighted in the daylight. This was back in the early 1970s. I read a book, one of Churchill's Churchword's books on Lemuria or Mu. He did a series of them. And one of those books, he talked about how the ancients understood the atmosphere better than we do today. And basically what he said was, incidentally, I found this in other writings, some of the ancient Indian writings of India, and I realized they were aware of it back in the days of the pyramids in Egypt, pre-Egypt. That's how they lit their structures, their underground structures, and how they could see in their temples, and there is no soot from lights and candles and torches like we used more recently. So what it is that very little of our daylight hours on the earth are lit directly by the sun. The atmosphere, in effect, is instigated or excited, and the light that we see in the daytime comes from the atmosphere. It's instigated by the sun in a way. Some call them waves or particles of light. They're a little bit more like waves, but they're actually neither wave nor light. But anyway, the atmosphere is excited in electrical sense, and that's where the light comes from. And in the pre-Egypt, those big bulbs that you see in some of the glyphs written on the temple walls in Egypt, there's a big, looks like a light bulb, and that was probably what they used to excite the light or the atmosphere, the air within the Egyptians' temples. So the light didn't come from that big light bulb. That's what excited the molecules or the waves in the air, and that created the light. So you can deduce, if you're following my train of thought, that there could be an atmospheric disturbance to the point where it brought about darkness. Now, this wouldn't be the type of darkness that you have nighttime. It would be an electronic or wave darkness. So it would be the absence of light. So in a sense, if you turned on a flashlight in that darkness, it wouldn't light up as a flashlight normally would light, or a light bulb, due to the electrical disturbance of the atmosphere or the air in a room or building. Yeah. Take that, you scientists of today. So, perhaps these 3 hours, days of darkness that are talked about in some of the ancient writings would be instigated by something from the sun, or something in our solar system, such as a comet going by the Earth or the sun and creating a disturbance. This could also be brought about by the tail of the comet, because the tail of a comet is made of different materials depending on what the comet is and what's happening to the comet. So what I'm saying is that there's a comet coming by on the 24th of this month that's going to be going between the Earth and the sun. And its tail, the Earth is going to be going through the tail that following week, from the 26th to the 29th, something like that. And depending on what this tail is made up of, and the streams, the difference, there's the tail of a comet is kind of like the bands that are put out from a hurricane. There may be a band, and then there's nothing, and then another band. So it's kind of iffy on how the Earth will go through that tail and what disturbances that tail will do to the Earth. So it's possible that there could be 3 days of darkness due to this tail, the end of this month. So there's a heads up. So there, I hope you understand a little bit more about our atmosphere and why the atomic bombs that were set off in the early 1950s by a bunch of dumb scientists that had too much power, and they said, basically, let's blow up an atomic bomb in the atmosphere and see what happens. And decades later, we had holes in our ozone that quite possibly could have been caused by those detonations in the atmosphere by these atomic bombs. Brilliant work. So anyway, happy trails, happy future public right-of-ways. Bye now.